doing here? Well, it looks like it's time to do another video. It's been a week. Gordon and, well, the misadventures with Precision Cartridge Incorporated are, well, they're still continuing. I haven't actually heard anything further other than, well, dude, excuse me if I get your name wrong, but I'm going to put it on there just to make sure everybody knows who you are. Acidison, dude, I always have problems with your name, but I really appreciate the fact you went over there and you let Dennis Fossey know that what he did to Gordon was not cool. Appreciate that, man. That really kicks ass. Okay, now the point and the parcel of today's movie is basically me doing, well, minor channel updates, some falderall, some shoutouts, no, not really, but more like a case of thank yous. Okay, first and foremost, I got a box in the mail. Okay, that's right. It was the flying turkey known as snail mail. I don't know why they still use an eagle. You know the U.S. mail. It works. It's a little slow, but it works. But it's hardly an eagle. I know, we use eagles to define the United States. I get that. That's cool. Okay, so basically, let's get me bumping the camera. Yeah, basically, we got stuff today. Well, let's see. It's from Cutlerynovice to the Dude, care of Santa, North Pole, USA. Dude, come on. I know where you live, and you know where I live. Did I have to peel the labels off and find something crazy-ass like this? No. All right, well, let's open it and see what we get. First and foremost, what do we use to open a box? Of course, we use something appropriate. Good times. Alright, so, Mr. Box, you know what? I think he's gonna, well, he's gonna go and he's gonna sacrifice one for the team. That's right. Mr. Techna is gonna say, Mr. Box, you have met your match with some of the best Japanese steel. Good times. Well, what's in the box? A lot of air and a littler box. Okay, a littler box. Spyderco Jessel. I didn't ask for a Spyderco, dude. Ooh, toilet paper. Yeah, that's always a plus. Ooh. Oh, okay, it's clean. It's cool. Never mind. Ew, recycling sucks. Okay, technically this should be a... Dude, badass little Benchmade, man. You know, I didn't think this thing was going to look and feel this nice. I gotta tell you, dude, this thing feels really good. Plain edge goodness. Love the control grip jimping on the thumb rest. There's nothing fancy. I mean, there's nothing unextraordinary about having something like that, but it feels good. Feels. In fact, you know, it feels so good. These two guys now know each other. Dude, thanks a lot for sending me that stuff. That was exceedingly awesome of you. And I truly appreciate it when you, well, you do me a solid like that. I don't know so much about your dressing abilities, but, whatever. Okay, so, you know what? These two guys are going to remain in the forefront. What the hell? Okay, so, the other part and parcel of today's thing was, well, I made notice to some people, and I'm going to do a video on how to tune these things up and make them work better, but, might need a little more room. Okay, so you two guys, well, let me keep them in frame so everybody's all happy and all that good stuff like that. There! Stay. Stay. You gotta train your knives. Stay. Good knives. Good knives! I'll give you a treat and oil job when we're done. Okay, so Mrs. Dude was needing... Okay. Jokingly, the thing is I have with one of my South African friends is you always give a gift to your wife that might come back and be used by you as well. Read like, well, Mrs. Dude gets, well, something associated with her vehicle. Does it make my life easier to know that she has it? Oh, hell yeah, it does. Big time. Because then it gives me something to play with whenever I'm driving her, well, baby truck. That would be the Honda CR-V. Okay, so, back to the part and parcel and important parts thereof. Mrs. Dude needed, quote-unquote, Mrs. Dude needed, she needed a new firearm. So I was scrounging around and I found this guy. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can... Oh, hell. I might just... Alright, I'll freehand it a bit. It's not going to be pretty, but here we go. Tube fed. Not exactly bright here. Let me crank on a little more light so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I have the light button on. Yeah, it's on there. That's as bright as that sucker's going to get. Okay. Maybe I should do this in an area where I have more light. Okay, this is a tube-fed Marlin model number 60. Notice, new tripod makes my life a little bit easier. Okay, so this guy is basically a Marlin Model 60. I believe it is a 14 or 15 shot tube magazine, and essentially what you do with these guys is they're pretty simple, man. It's old tech. You walk to the front of the gun, you give it a quarter turn, this slides out, you then drop the rounds in. That's the plastic follower that's in the actual tube itself. You know, there's actually another brass tube that slides in. It actually is the magazine spring. Okay, now, on that, we essentially have nothing too terrible crazy, but I went scrounging around the gun shows and I found a fairly nice one. This is an older Japanese Tasco, 2.5 by 10 by 40. This thing is really clear, man. I mean, I gotta tell you, when you guys scrounge around, look for the old Japanese Tascos. I know I've really kind of... Alright, I've gone backwards and forwards on this, and you guys have probably gotten sick of hearing me talking about them, but the old Japanese Tascos are flipping excellent for the money. I guess that would also comprise, like, your old Bushnells as well, and... Excuse me, a little bit of sinus thing. That would also comprise the fact that the old guys really put the time and effort into it. The Chinese, not so much. And also, I'll let you in a little secret. China is having a revolution now. It seems there's a lot of people that go, well, hell, these Americans make a buttload of money. So do we. We should make a buttload of money. China is now realizing that you can't pay somebody under the table, just barely feed the dog wages when they want to live like Americans. There's a reason why China is using a lot more gasoline than they used to. It's because everybody wants a car. Okay, that's enough of world events for, you know, the long and the short of it. Essentially what happened then is I played with it. And you will notice this does not look like a stock trigger. Nope. That does not even look remotely like a stock trigger. That's because I took apart this thing and I gave it a full-on action job. When I played with this thing right off the bat, the trigger felt like a 10-pound light switch. Literally, crack. It felt like, yuck. I could not live with it. I dry fired it like 3 or 4 times, and the rifle, I got it. Okay, let me put this in perspective. It's missing the back sight. That's it. That's the only thing that was wrong with this rifle. It was missing the back sight. The action was so utterly I mean, I took this thing apart. It looks like it maybe had 10 rounds through it, max. It was barely dirty. It was so blue inside, like none of the parts had ever been burnished together, barely, that everything still was rough, harsh, nasty, gritty, yucky surfaces, and I couldn't live with it. I will show you how to make a Marlin 60, 70 Papoose, 795, 7000, sing like a Stradivarius when you're done. Trust me, man, when I get done with these things, the trigger pull, okay, even box stock, not going completely crazy with it, that has maybe about a 5-pound trigger, but it's smooth. It is a hell of a lot smoother, and the older stuff, when they made these rifles, they put the time, the effort, the hands-on, and they could afford to do that, because back in the 60s, 70s, and these things started back in the 60s, 70s, there's like about damn near 20 to 30 million of these rifles floating around now. It is amazing how many of these things they made. Almost 20 million, I think. They're like 16 million or so in production, but for a 22 rifle, the only people that made more rifles than this is Ruger with their 1022. That's it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Mossbergs out there, and there's a lot of Savages out there, and there's a lot of Springfields and other old, you know, semi-autos that you could just, well, you can't, okay, you can't throw a stick at an old gun store without at least hitting 2 or 3 of them. But these, for me anyway, these are easily tunable. Yeah, I know. Rugers are like the Chevy 350 of the modern day because you can just take the receiver, pull it out, bolt a whole bunch of other goodies on it, and make the thing scream like a Ferrari. Very, very easy to do. These, not so much. But here's the cool part. Micro groove rifling, that would be 16 little grooves around the barrel as opposed to 4 or as opposed to 6 big grooves. Gives less deformation to the bullet. It gives a better gas seal. These will typically push 50 to 70 feet per second faster than a Ruger just because of the rifling in the barrel. That's cool. And yes, you've seen me shooting one holes with these things, no problem. This rifle, well, taking it down to the basement and doing my basement testing, translation, shooting all snot out of a set of, well, phone books. One hole, no problem. One hole. This sucker cracked and kicked ass. Okay, now here's the cool part. Scrounging around, I got into this rifle, $110. For my area of, well, residence, that's cheap, man. I mean, if you cruise around in the hinterland and Unterland and, you know, the rest of the areas outside of, well, how cosmopolitan my place of residence is, you can run into these rifles. Let me try to talk here. You can run into these rifles for under $100. You can find them on Gunbroker for under $120. There is nothing wrong with a Model 60. The only downside is the reloading is a little bit slow, but this thing will crack off 15 rounds as fast as you can run the trigger. And the best part is, you can't lose the magazine because it's on the gun. The only thing you can do is take out the inner tube and, oops. You still can single load it, it still will function, it still will fire, and these tubes are eminently available. All you gotta do is find them. So, you can find yourself a Model 60, you can tune up a Model 60, you can make a Model 60 run. These are probably one of the best truck guns on the planet. You could throw this thing on a gun rack, and it's gonna sit there until you need it. You could throw up 10 rounds in there, and the magazine's not going to be stressed. You know for a fact you got 10 rounds that are rattlesnake zappers, well, rabbit zappers, bird zappers, prairie dog zappers, and if the STH, what is it? SHTF, you have 10 rounds ready to go down range and zap the goblins, zap the zombies, zap the itinerant butthole that's making your life suck. And yeah, I know I'm towing that 15-minute point, but I'm going to run this sucker out because YouTube said you could do that now. So we're going to do that. Okay, so, from the top, Cutlerynovice, dude, thanks so much for selling me this knife. I am definitely going to, well, let everybody know Cutlerynovice is one good egg. If you want to get some cool stuff, talk to him. Hang on one second here. Oh, yeah, that's much better. Had to wipey the fingerprints. It's a badass little knife, man. I really like this thing. Okay, also well, the video is not going to be up there when I post this video, but it'll be second one up in line, and I'm going to keep it up there for a while. If you get a chance, please watch the video about Gordon's plate. I'm not going to keep hashing on the guy's name and what his company name is and how to contact him and all the rest of that falderall, but if you see Gordon's video and you hear about his plight, and you're moved, just do something about it. Don't let these guys screw over other people. And of course, please use Graphs. Graphs.com, Graphs and Son. These guys, well, they stood up and they said, you know what, this guy really is a ween. Gordon, we'll take care of it. We'll bite the bullet, as it were, and we'll take care of things. When a company stands up for something that, well, they didn't directly do, but somebody else got him in trouble and they still stood up for the guy, that's cool, man. That is very exceedingly cool, and that company deserves your business. The guys that screwed over Gordon? Not so much. Not so much at all. In fact, I'd like to see dude basically fighting off the zombies, the goblins, the itinerant assholes, with his own craptastic ammo. That would be good. To me, I like nothing but good irony. And somebody that has to fight off a fight with his own junk, that's good. I like that. Okay, folks, I'm going to tie this one up, and also, video for this, well, the semi-auto tune-up on the Marlin will be coming. Thanks again, man. That was really a cool knife. I really appreciate that. Signing off now on this one for the 80s Podcast channel. I'll see you guys, and of course, Ursh.